What's going on, you guys? It's Coach Ike, and I am excited for another edition of Everything Uncovered. Man, I am truly excited for my guest as this is a former teammate of mine. This guy actually saved my life. Man, we're going to get into it. I'm extremely proud for him. He's now coaching, and we're going to deep dive into all that he has going on. But before we get into there, I want to talk about the things of how we can start working together. So, for you coaches who are interested, who are youth coaches, who are coaches who want to start out their coaching career, rather at the youth level, high school level, or you want to move on to the college rankings. I have the course for you. I have created a consulting coaching for platform for you guys, coaches, trainers. You guys want to start making money, help you guys develop your kids, DBs, as well as defensive coordinators learning how to be assistant coaches. What does that mean? Everything that I've learned and continue to learn, I make sure I put into this platform. You guys do not want to miss out on this. You guys get 24 hours access, okay, to see if this is for you. If it's not, you can get on, get your money back, but you get 24-hour access to see everything that's included in there. You guys don't want to miss out, especially because the price will be going up. So I'm letting you guys know now. Make sure you guys click in there. If you are DB coaches, you are youth coaches, you are defensive coordinators that want to improve their game and understand and continue to grow and develop their kids. DBs, we also have a mentorship program where you can train both virtually or in person. We go over financial literacy. We're going over football IQ, getting on the board, chalk talks, film, breakdown. We do all these things, as well as we have group training where you can train with us as well if you're in the area. If you're not in the area, we also have virtual training. All these different ways of how you can get in contact with me, getting training, getting better, as all we work on is development and getting you to where you need to go, especially reaching your goals, helping you get to the next level and being that player that you always know you knew you could be. Now, without further ado, man, I'm gonna bring in my guy, both from Cali, man. I'm excited for him. Once again, without further ado, I introduce Chris Hemphill as my guest today. Hemp, what's good, my dog? What's good?
What's up with you, man?
Man, good to have you on, man. Good to see you, my dog.
Man, likewise, man. You looking good, looking youthful, man.
Man, I'm trying to get like you, man. Trying to get like you.
Yeah, right, man. I got to stay in the gym, man. Be sure these young bucks I used to do something, you
Nah, man.
know.
We gonna talk about that, man. Get into it. I see you. You already branded, man. For those who don't know, my dog is the DC of the New Orleans team, which is now the AFL coming back. And we gonna get into all these things, man. But before we get into there, I want to share just a little bit of how me and Hemp met. Y'all gonna laugh. The story is extremely funny. So we in New Orleans. I mean, not New Orleans. We're in Orlando,
Mm.
2019. I'm already in the room, and since I'm in a room, yes, Hemp already know where I'm going with this. I'm already in the room. I was told my roommate Ty wasn't gonna come till tomorrow, so I'm in a room by myself, and it's nighttime. I'm using the bathroom with the door open, and mind you, this ain't the best hotel we in. It's it's terrible. We get into that more though. And I'm on the phone with my girlfriend, who's my wife now, and I'm on the phone, and then he opened the door. So now we make eye contact. I'm taking the deuce, and him walk in like, oh, I'm like, oh, let me help me close the door. Hey, but it was funny, and we've been gelling ever since. But man, like I said, dog, it's funny, man. We always staying in touch. And my first question for you though, man, both born in California, of course. We know there's different atmospheres in Cali. Share your upbringing though for you in Cali, and how was your childhood?
Okay. Yeah, man. Grew up in South Central Los Angeles, a little sub city called Watts. You know, um, and single mom. You know, my dad's in the picture, obviously being my whole life. Um, but live with my mom's, and this woman is the epitome of hard work, dedication, sacrifice. She had me young, still a teenager herself. But you know what's crazy, man? A lot of people don't know. I never went to public school. All my friends went to public schools and joined gangs and all that stuff. She kept me out of all that. I went to private school, Sarah High School, and she put me in all the sports. I played baseball, football, basketball. She put me in acting, modeling, piano lessons. Like I did everything. So to say where I come from doesn't really match my upbringing because yeah, we struggle. I mean, who doesn't struggle? Who doesn't have, top ramen nights or, them served sandwiches, the bologna where you put a little red strip off the corner. We had all that. But I feel like I was blessed in the fact that the stuff that she put me in opened up my eyes to a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have, you know, um, playing on AAU basketball teams and getting having white friends. There's no white people in Watts, in case y'all was wondering. Having white friends and Asian friends and getting to see life outside of Watts. So my upbringing was cool. She was tough on me. Pop, same way, made sure I was grounded, structured and he did the best he could too. Gave me everything he never had, so it was love, man. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Now that's awesome, and I want to hit on that because I have some relatives who gang bang. I have some friends who gang bang, but people don't understand. And especially, when you meet a guy from Cali, it's always this stigma, especially when you go different places. Like, you bang, you this, like, nah, man, I'm more than that. And and people, especially when we talk more, you actually, you carry yourself differently than from where your environment, like you shared, and that's testament to your family and to your mom, man. But it's some guys who from our city, they haven't been past Vegas yet. So and we'll get into how traveling shapes us and everything like that. But bro, you are very educated. You got the degrees. You've been doing big things. So kudos to you first of all. But not only that, to your mom, who has definitely been the best advocate for you and your dad as well. And share us going to private school because I never went to a private school, man.
Well, the first thing is, man, uniforms. That's one thing I became accustomed to is wearing the same thing every day, bro. I never had to wake up and be like, damn, I'm gonna wear to school. You know what you was wearing. You know what I'm saying? But another thing too is the and I can say this because I've actually went to summer school at public school before. Um, but like the environment, it's not really that much different than public school in the fact that the drama, you feel me? Because it was still knuckleheads that went to private school, but it's the population was way smaller. Some public schools you got 4 or 5 thousand students. And my high school we have 426 kids in the whole school. I've been in classes in middle school where we've had 15 kids. So that one-on-one time with the teacher, um, I think really is the difference. And I'm not saying that public school students are bad or anything like that, but it's just so many students in there. So I think that's really the main difference is the size of the classrooms, the size of the school. It's more of that one-on-one attention that you get, from the teachers. But it's still drama.
Oh,
There's drama going on, fights in the bathroom, after school, squabble up, all of that stuff, bro. So I don't want people to get it twisted, like, private school was just some little goodie, everything was all good. Like, nah, we still had gangs and all that as well. They just moms just paid their money in there. So
nah, for sure. And so you mentioned going to Sarah because I want to get to high school. And Sarah, you guys became a powerhouse, especially when you was there. You played receiver and strong safety in high school. You guys won the league championship all 3 years when you was there. You guys were
Mhm.
13-1 your senior year and reached the finals. Did you guys win that year?
Nah, man, we actually lost at the end of the game. Quick little story. Me and my boy Devin Stearns, he was a four-star receiver coming out. He's actually the reason I got a football scholarship. But we can get into that later. But we told the other corner, his name was Alfred, we was like, yo, it's 4th and 17. Stay in your zone. No matter if the quarterback run around, this your zone over here. We was in zone. Stay in your zone, man. We'd be good. So the quarterback is rolling around and all that stuff. He throws it across the field and they get exactly 17 yards, bro, and get the first down and go ahead and score to take the lead, man. I think it was like a minute left in the game. So that one always stung right there, man. But we still had a good squad. We had a lot of guys get, D1 offers. We had a lot of guys get D2 offers. And that was really the start of building that Sarah dynasty that everybody hears about with, Robert Woods and Adoree Jackson, all those guys coming after us. So I'm glad I went there.
Right. And you mentioned how you played basketball and other sports, so you a multi-sport athlete. And
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know if people know, but you 6'4", so you can't miss who you are when you walk on campus anywhere. So
Right.
share that recruiting process though for you because you play so many sports.
Mhm.
Where teams looking at you playing basketball, and ultimately, of course, like you said, you got a football scholarship, and then we'll talk about where you went from there after that.
Yeah, man. So what people don't actually know is I was a hooper, man. I was nice in football, but hoop was really where I felt like I was gonna make my money. So I played varsity, since I was a freshman. Got in a little academic trouble, so wasn't really able to play that freshman year. But sophomore year, I broke my wrist sophomore year. So played like the first couple games. But my junior year had a really strong year. We had one of the best point guards in the state, Pooh Jeter. A lot of people know him as well. And we went all the way to state that year. So really, I was getting a lot of my first letter was from St. John's
Mm.
for basketball. And then also Wisconsin and Navy and West Virginia and like all of these schools like that. But I just figured my heart wasn't really in it, like I thought I was. Plus, I wanted to stay on the West Coast because my mom's don't like to fly and pops don't like to fly. So I want them to be able to come see my games. And I don't want to join the Navy, that part. So what's crazy is I didn't even start my football until my senior year because I had All Americans that played in front of me. Eric McNeil went to UCLA, All American. Devin Stearns, All American. So I didn't even start to my senior year. And another fun fact too was my senior year, I led the conference in interception, and I didn't even make all league team. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it just kind of happened that way. They came to see Devin, like I said, who was a four-star receiver, and Devin was sick or having some migraines and stuff like that. So I took all the reps, and the coach was like, "Hey, who that tall, skinny kid over there, like catching one-handed pass and hitting people and stuff?" So they came to see us that weekend. We just happened to have a rivalry game, and I went off 17 tackles, a pick, fumble. Day. I was like, "Oh yeah." So next thing you know, they pulling me out of class to talk to me. And the rest is history.
So basically, man, it's like the Alabama where you don't play necessarily, not because you can, it's just you got to wait your turn. It's a guy balling. But
Facts.
at the same time, as soon as you get seen, it's like, okay, it's no brainer. The guy, first of all, physically, he has all the attributes, and then he
Mm-hmm.
actually can play. I tell parents this, and they don't agree with me all the time. I said, really, that's like the smartest way because football is like so short term and you got to maximize your body. Like, why wouldn't you go somewhere when you ain't got to take a pounding, but at the same time, you get limited reps and you can still get out? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's different, and people, perspective got to change on it. But so you chose Washington. You Huskies, you guys went to the national championship this year. Um,
Yeah.
Dogs. I was hoping the dogs, especially because we West Coast guys, we are Pac-12 guys, but you went to Washington. Share what made Washington special for you to choose them, and then at the same time, how was it being away from home for the first time?
No, that's a good question. That's really Washington was the most loyal through the whole recruiting process. And they were one of the few schools that let me play both football and basketball as well, because that was an important thing to me is to be able to play both sports, and especially with them being on the West Coast as well. I pretty much had the whole, well, when I played, it was Pac-10, pretty much the whole Pac-10 except for, like UCLA, Stanford, Cal, like those schools like that. But Washington, USC, and Arizona State were the only three schools that let me play both sports. So fast forward, it's time for me to go. Really, it was bittersweet because I feel like moms had done her job, pops had did his job. So now it was time for me to leave the nest. I was 17 years old, still wasn't 18 yet. I was still young, I'm young for my grade. I went to Washington with a duffel bag, bro. I didn't even have a jacket. I went to Washington. My mom was dropping me off at the airport. It's crazy because we had a big fight the night before. So in the morning, she dropped me off with her duffel bag. She was just looking straight ahead like this. I was like, all right, moms, I love you, yada, yada, yada. And I gave her a hug and I was off to, the UW and just new experiences. My first time being away from home. For an extended period of time, and really just had to take all of those qualities and values that my parents instilled in me and apply them to life now. So I'm at Washington freshman year, obviously, and I just remember how much bigger everybody else was than I was. When you come from your high school team, like, man, I'm better than all these. You get to college, you like, damn, bro, like you live for real. you know, I ain't really live in high school. I feel like I was, faster and stronger than everybody, more nimble. But in college, you got to live, bro. And quick story about that. Actually, my freshman year, I redshirt, they didn't let me play basketball. And that was a part of my deal on signing to Washington is playing basketball. I talked to Romar, who was a basketball coach then, Coach Romar, almost every night. And we would go over like schemes and where I fit in the offense and all that. And our coach got fired when I got there, Coach Neuheisel. And Gilbertson took over. He said, nah, you too skinny. You need to be in the weight room, yada, yada, yada. But the real reason, which I found out later, was Nate Robinson, who everybody's familiar with, came in on a football scholarship. He went to go play basketball, and he never came back. So football ended up losing a scholarship. Yeah, they didn't take too kindly. They figured I might do the same thing, So they was like, nah, we're not doing that again. So thanks a lot, Nate. Messed up my hoop dreams, but it's still all good, man.
Well, that's what's up. Can you share a little bit about it? Because parents and kids don't understand because basically you're negotiating, like, look, I'm getting a scholarship, but you allow me to play basketball. Share how those conversations was like, look, I really do love basketball. I want to play this. Now you getting up there, it kind of changed because of the situation, but share that power and what you expressed to the coaches of how you wanted to do that.
Well, I made it very clear to Coach Neuheisel at the time, who's a phenomenal recruiter. If anybody had ever had a conversation with Coach New, you know what I'm saying? He could sell snow to a polar bear, man, ice to a polar bear. He called him Slick Rick. So Slick Rick, he was like, yeah. He called me number one because he said that's what number I was going to wear at Washington. Yeah, number one. Yeah, we got a guy here named Nate Robinson. He's a pretty good athlete. He's going to play basketball. I don't really see a problem with you doing the same thing. I'll even give you the basketball coach's number, and you guys can, talk about this stuff. So I would talk to the basketball coach, and he was excited to have me. And Coach Lou was all about, making sure the recruit was happy. And that's what really drew me to Washington is I felt like they really cared about what I did in my career. They didn't try to control me or make me, do something I didn't want to. So the thing that helped sell that to, my parents was that they wanted me to do what I wanted to do. So there's like, if the school not going to allow you to do what you want to do, then they shouldn't even be in the running to get you. So I think that's important to athletes that's coming out of high school. If you were a two-sport guy, go to a school and let you play both sports. If you're not, don't worry about that. Go to a school where you feel like you're going to get the best out of it, both academically and on the football field. So I was very happy with my choice. I wasn't happy when Coach New got fired. And thinking back on it, would I had transferred? Maybe. I don't know. But I had a good time at Washington. We weren't that good as they are, now, but a lot of the friendships and connections that I made there, some I have forever.
For sure. And you mentioned transferring. So the landscape of how college football is now, and college in general, what do you see, or how do you feel about this NIL now, the transfer portal, these things going forward? How do you see it all playing out?
To be honest, I can see both sides. Especially with me being on the coaching side now, I can understand why coaches will be upset. Because you have all of these players that you have to recruit, you develop relationships with, you develop relationships with their parents, with their high school coaches. This is a player that you see in your program, and just speaking specifically about football for the next 3 to 4 years, 5 if you redshirt. So you kind of, I'm not saying build your team around that, but you kind of get these pieces that fit together that you think will help, win that championship. So I think a lot of things with the portal, me just speaking on the portal, I think it kind of gives guys a way not to really work hard, because you can go to a school and be like, you know what, I wanted to play, this amount of plays, only play this amount of plays, or I wanted this number, I couldn't get this number, or this coach don't like me because he yelled at me, I want to leave. It's like, nah, you couldn't do that when I went to school, or we went to school, bro. Like, if you transferred, you had to sit out a year. If you transferred in the same conference, you had to sit out 2 years. Now these players can go and be eligible right away. That's crazy. And now it's like to a point where, okay, if I didn't get this player out of high school, now that this school put some muscle on him and he learned a little bit, now I can go snatch him from the school and I ain't really have to groom him. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And to kind of piggyback off that and with the NIL, I think the NIL is great in the terms in that players need to understand you're a commodity. All right. These colleges are only gonna use you until they can't use you anymore. And I was lucky enough to have somebody in my ear and tell me that and say, look, bro, once you become disposable to this school, they don't need you. They can toss you to the side. They can take your scholarship. What actually ended up happening to me when Coach Willingham came. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get to play my red shirt year at Washington because he took my scholarship, So I understand about players. You never know when your last play is going to come. So I think them profiting off of you and making all this money, I think definitely that players should be getting their share. Now, when it comes to the point where they're like, hey, I'm not coming to your program unless you give me $100,000 in a Jeep Wrangler, I think that part is crazy. They should definitely have some limitations on what a player can get while they're in school. Once they get out of school or whatever, then, they can release the rest of it or however they work it out. But I just think the whole landscape is crazy now.
Yeah, man. And I'm truly for the players. Like, I totally agree with guys who don't want to compete. Yeah, you gotta miss me with all that. But
Yeah.
it's so many people in the transfer portal that's not talked about that coaches told them you should get in. And that's the unfortunate part about it. We talk about the high rank guys or the big name guys who, of course, they're getting in and seeing their options where they can get paid, which they should. I truly believe in that. But it's a lot of coaches like, man, you're not my guy. I'm bringing this guy in. And I had a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with a corner coach, and he said, man, we're looking for guys who are developed. And he said, it's a lot of guys that are not developed, though. And I said, that's a big thing. That's crazy how you got guys who already been playing 14, 2 years, 3 years at a program, and they're still not developed. And I find that wild because we see the transfer portal now pushing out these freshmen coming in who should be playing, who should be getting developed, but they are not getting developed in their high school. So now it's just we keep pushing these guys back, which coaching at the high school level these past 3 seasons, I've seen guys who normally would get a shot having to go to JUCO route or go smaller schools. So it is crazy, and we'll see how it all plays out. But you shared how you weren't a scholarship was taken away from you at Washington. So for the most part, we as athletes, we try to play as long as possible. Of course, some of our careers end prior to what we want to, and it's not on our terms. Can you share what was your next step though for you going in your mind when it was like, man, college football is over for me. What do I want to do?
Well, obviously, I share the dream of 99% of guys that go to college football on a scholarship is, you want to play at the highest level, which is the NFL. And just going back to when I was talking about my scholarship being taken away, I had three different head coaches at Washington. I had a position coach every year that I was there. And quick shout out to my position coach, Coach Steve Wilkes, went to the Super Bowl with the Niners, couldn't get it done. But he one of the guys that helped mold me. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough whenever you got a guy coming in and say, you do it this way. And you work hard to do it that way. Then you got the next guy to come in and say, yeah, that's cool, but you should add this to it and add this to it. Take away that. It's a lot to process. So it's a lot when you're dealing with head coaches, you're dealing with different position coaches. It's hard to kind of really get a rhythm. You got coaches that like it done this way and like it done this way. To me personally, I think those are some of the best players that have had coaching changes because now they're coachable, they're adaptable. They can take shit and make sugar out of it. You know what I'm saying? So I was one of those guys that was like that. Now when Coach Willingham came in, everybody was saying, "Oh man, he's this, he's that, he controls it." In my mind, whenever I meet somebody, I'm gonna give you a chance to show me who you are. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Nah, he did the homie wrong at the other school, so nah, I ain't rocking with it."
Yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna give you a chance, and it's the same, with the coaches, and we just never clicked, bro. I wasn't his guy. He got rid of a lot of guys, when he came, but in my heart, I knew it wasn't me because when I transferred, before they changed the transfer rule and had the portal and all that, I had to go to a D2 school, and I went there and killed. I led the conference in picks. I was All-American there and all that, and ended up not getting drafted, even though I had a mid-round draft grade for my size and my position. I didn't get drafted, but I was fortunate enough to be in the NFL camp. And a lot of people can't say that, and that's no knock to players that, are deserving and stuff. But really, it's what school you went to, what type of agent you got, how fast of a 40 you ran, and just God, bro. So I was fortunate enough to go to an NFL camp. So in my mind, I realized my NFL dream, got a little signing bonus, and thought I made it, and then bam, I tear my groin in half, it can't. So really, I say that to say this, bro. You got to be mentally strong to do this. Everybody think it's all about lifting weights and being fast and all of that stuff. Your mental got to be there, because you got a lot of our football brothers, man, that are committing suicide or doing things that are not considered normal in our societies because we go through so much. A lot of people don't understand. So in my mind, I knew I had to get this degree. My parents wasn't having that. That was always I got my degree, and I knew I wanted to be around sports in some capacity, not necessarily coaching, but in the a front office role. So I went and got my master's in business. So I didn't give these guys any excuse not to hire me. You didn't get your college degree. Yeah, I did. Well, you can only have a master's. Okay, I got that too. Now what? So making that transition, it was difficult. But I'm right where I'm supposed to be, man. That's God right there.
Yeah. So what D2? Because I didn't know you went to D2. What
Yeah, a
D2?
lot of people don't. I went to Central Washington. I was there for about 4 months. I got there in August, and I was gone in November, end of November. And we had the best season in school history.
Yeah.
My quarterback was Mike Riley. Wound up playing with the Steelers and had a good career in Canada. And we had some really solid players, some bounce backs and stuff that went there. And that's before they changed the transfer rule. I was going to transfer to UNLV actually, and they changed the transfer rule where you can only go to a school and be eligible if they offer a major that your school doesn't. And I went to Washington, bro. They offered everything: underwater basket weaving, history of Tupac, like all of that stuff. So it screwed me. So I went there and did my thing, man, and still was fortunate enough to get that shot.
Now, my boy went there as well. He did his thing there as well. So, man,
Yeah, Ellensburg, man. Yeah,
so shoot, you say how you get in there, you think you made it, you have an injury, but then you get in an arena. And a lot of people, they don't understand the arena. I say it is very fun. That's the most fun I've had, as a professional, just playing football again, just like being a kid again. Can you
yeah,
share the arena, your experience playing the arena game, and then how did you take advantage of those opportunities to what you're doing now? And like you said, you want to be in the front office, but can you share those opportunities?
yeah, absolutely, bro. So, I actually used to see arena football on TV growing up when I was a kid. We had a team, the LA Avengers. So I used to watch. I'm like, damn, they playing football inside. Like this was wild. Like it was always interesting to me. So I knew what it was. When my agent said, I got a guy over with the LA Avengers that wants to take a look at you. I'm like, what? So I go out there and it's crazy. I'm just trying to figure out, okay, he's running at you. Okay, I can't move here or I can't. I went out there, had fun, man, met some of the guys. They didn't end up signing me, but the experience was cool. Um, Fast forward to 2009, actually, I got a random call from my kicker that I went to college with, Mike Brownstein. Say, hey, him, what you doing, buddy? He was like that. I'm like, bro, I was working at 24 Hour Fitness at the time. And he goes, hey, I'm playing indoor ball with this team and yada, yada, yada. Just wondering if you want to give it a shot. I'm like, what? And then deep down, I really wanted to play football. So I said, yeah, sure. Went out to Tri-Cities in Washington. And they were playing in the AFL, the Deuce, back when the Deuce was popping. AFL had, went dormant that year. So it was the Deuce was popping. I get there the same day as this tall white guy with the slick back hair and all that. His name was Pat O'Hara. We both get there on the same day. He's the new head coach. This is the middle of the season, right? They fired the coach. They was like 0-7 or something. So I get there, PO gets there. We just kind of look at each other actually in the airport. And I was like, yeah, I'm here to play football with, Tri-Cities Fever. He's like, I'm here to be the coach. Like. Um, so we finished out the year. We got a few wins, and he really was impressed by how fast I caught on to the game. So when he got the job at the Orlando Predators the following year, when AFL came back, he gave me a call to come out there. And I was like, cool, this is fun. Let's do it. So I went out to Orlando. That was technically my rookie year in Orlando. That's how I met, TT Tolliver and Rayshawn Kaiser and CL Grogan and, Lynch and all those guys, man, Kenny McIntyre. I met all those guys, from that team. So that was really my introduction to AFL football from there. And then after that, the career just took off.
It seemed like you played like forever, bro. Like forever. But
I'm old, dog. I'm old, man. I've been around. So
yeah,
yeah.
for sure, for sure. But like you said, man, people they don't see what we go through on they see only on the field. They don't see
Yeah.
what happens off the field, especially with injuries. I know you've dealt with injuries. You already said you pulled your groin. Um, and there's other things that's going on. I remember, shoot, I tore my ACL, came back rehab, and I broke my collarbone. But after I broke my collarbone, I was married at this time. I just had my daughter. I was going through a divorce. And like people don't even understand this. Like, shoot, you dealing with so much, and then you still trying to play football. And we know football, it doesn't matter if it's an NFL or not. It's all about what have you done for me lately in producing at a high
Exactly.
level. So can you share those moments for you where you playing but dealing with injuries, or I'm dealing with off the field issues? Can you go
Mhm.
back to those moments where you was really just having a hard time?
Absolutely. So playing in Orlando, then just kind of thinking like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't live the rest of my life making $400 a week. That's what they were, was paying at the time, rookies. I can't, do that. I got to make something else shake. I can't keep leaving my job, back and forth. Luckily, I had a cool manager that, would let me go chase my dream for a little bit. So I actually was like, you know what? I'm gonna just work, do my thing, and that's what it is. It just so happened in 2012, um, I was playing. I got a call to go play in Texas. Now it was cool, I end up. That's where I'm sorry. That's where I met To. To was my teammate that year when
Oh,
he
okay,
came
okay.
into football. Yeah, To, cool dude, man. Regardless of what everybody say about him, man, that guy, he cool people, man. Um, and what happened was I ended up getting cut from that team. I aggravated my groin somehow, got cut from that team. And then the following year, that's when I ended up in Kansas, in Wichita, Kansas. My boy Rocky uh, got me on the squad up there. And that's when everything just took off. That's where I got my championship rings from. And I felt like that style of play better suited my skill set than AFL football because I was able to roam, more and do more things, not be restricted to the box. Um, and playing on that team ended up shaping my life because they paid for my master's degree. That's how I ended up getting my master's was Wichita had to deal with the local college that let players either finish their bachelor's or you can get a master's. So I already have my bachelor's degree. I enrolled in the business program and got a free master's, man. And all I had to pay for was the books. So I got a free master's degree, and a lot of guys say, "Yeah, why didn't you try to, go back to AFL or go back to?" Listen, man, I got calls for workouts for NFL camps, and was actually in a mini camp too prior to that, but that just wasn't the way that God was taking me. And I ended up, back in Wichita, got my master's, and just continue to play ball and make connections and setting myself up because in my mind I said I want to be a GM one day or player personnel, whatever. This is the road I got to take, you know. Um, so fast forward there, I'm dealing with life now. I had my daughter in 2013. And now it's like she need pampers, she need this and that, and just going back and forth with her mom. I gotta leave home and be gone for 5 months out the year. I'm bringing home $700, $800 a week. Whatever it is. So it's you got to have this up here because I'm arguing with her for 2 hours, then I got to go to practice, then I got to watch film, then I got to do whatever events we got to do in the community. So just trying to juggle those two things, bro. If you're not mentally strong, it's not gonna work.
Exactly. Exactly. Man, so 2019, this is where we meet. Now we go back to Orlando, and this is where the situation, it was not ideal as far as going back to Orlando. But we talked about then hanging up the cleats. And like you said, I don't recall coaching, but here we are now. And of course, my season ended before the season started. For those who don't know, I had a mild stroke. And if it wasn't for him, who knows if I'm here because him called the ambulance for me. So I was in hospital for 3 days and I was able to come out. But did you play? Did you play the following year after that? After that season?
No, actually, after the whole thing happened with you, I stayed in Orlando. I remember I got hurt the day before the first game. I got an interception in practice. Like one of the linemen hit me after the play or something, and I ended up getting hurt. So I was there, but I was on IR. And then they traded me to Brooklyn. So I actually played in New York that season. I finished that season out, and then COVID happened that following
Yes, yeah,
season. So
yeah.
I was like, you know what? I said I ended up hurting my back in Brooklyn, and I was just like, I'm too old to be doing this. Like I ain't never been hurt this much in life. You know what I'm saying? So God is telling me something, man. So luckily, Coach Miller, OG Arena coach, man, my coach and mentor, he gave me a call and actually wanted me to play. Um, And I was just like, nah, but if you got like a front office spot or a coaching spot, I like to say, yeah, let me see what I can do. And I didn't really think much of it. I was in LA working. He called me and said, I got a spot on my coaching staff. It's not much money, but I said, bet, let's do it. So that's where my coaching career started. I was an assistant DB coach, and I was the special teams coordinator. In Bismarck, North Dakota. You know what I'm saying? For no, and a lot of people don't even know where that's at. I was a geography guy, so I knew where it was. But Bismarck, North Dakota, man, is where
Oh,
my coaching career started.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and they just took off from there, bro.
That's what's up. Hey, so people don't understand. Now I'm gonna go back to Orlando. People don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I was hot that I got hurt because, bro, I feel like I was gonna have my best career, my best year ever,
You
ever.
was eating, yeah,
Like, like I was so upset I got hurt, but I was like, man, God got something else for me. But
yeah.
it was unfortunate, but at the same time, it's a blessing because I love what I do now. But so you start as an assistant, and now these last 2 years, because you was in San Diego, we went down there check out you guys last game. You guys end up winning it, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're the DC here at the New Orleans Voodoo. So can you share though how from a former player to a coach, your philosophy that you've built, you're fairly new. Of course, you're still building it, still changing and whatnot. But what philosophy have you built so far? And at the same time, what advice could you give to coaches who do want to get in the same shoes as you?
I think it's really important, um, being a coach, that you take those same habits that you formed from as being a player. So, for example, I love watching film. Like, I was a guy that was always in the film room because I know the older I got, the slower I was going to get. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep your speed and your ability forever. So I know I wanted to be like one of those guys like Palomalu. If you look at Troy Palomalu play, he wasn't the fastest or the most athletic, but he was always around the ball, and that's film study right there. That's film study. So I prided myself on that, on working hard in the film room. You don't have to work that hard, on the field when you're not able to. So I took that philosophy over to coaching, and where I really got blessed at, bro, is having a head coach that gave it down. A lot of times you got these head coaches like, all right, you coach this, drop your game plan, let me see it before the game. Nah, Coach Miller set me down like, look, this is my philosophy. You could put your own little spin on it, but this is what works for me for over 20 years. So of course, you got 20 years in the game. I'm gonna listen. Oh, hey, school me. So the thing about arena football, which a lot of people don't know, is you got a receiver already running at you before the ball is even snapped. Arena is all about timing. So if you could throw that timing off even a little bit, you got a chance. So he was really big on really putting hands on the motion guy, because that's where usually the first read is the high motion. And that's the philosophy that we have when we won the championship. So I took that philosophy that he taught, and I just kind of made it into my own. And when I say it like that, it's like disguising certain things, putting certain guys in different places that may throw the quarterback. Because if you could eliminate that pre-snap read, he holds the ball for that split second and give your D lineman a chance to get there. And I'm a guy that love to ask questions. So I'm always in Coach Miller's ear. I still call him to this day. Like, yo, you got a moment to talk? What you think about this? Like, I love asking questions. I love being better at what I do, because I know when I get my moment to coach in the NFL, or be in the front office in the NFL, I want to be ready for that opportunity. Now, a lot of people ask me, hey, man, why don't you be a head coach? You never try to. I just don't feel like I'm ready yet. And that could be, whenever. But I'm taking my time with this, knowing that when that opportunity do come, I want to be ready.
Right.
So I say that to say this: these young coaches and stuff, don't rush it, and don't rush it. Like, just to say, hey, I'm a head coach. Like, nah, bro, take the steps. Coach this position, be a special teams coordinator. Figure out what they do on offense. If you're a defensive guy, if you're an offensive guy, figure out what they do on defense. So that when you do, you know, get that opportunity to be a head coach, you're ready.
That is definitely some great advice. Definitely. So we see you repping the AFL. Like we said, the AFL has announced they are back,
Mhm.
and they're playing this year. Now, you, like I said, you already been named the DC for New Orleans Voodoo. How excited are you for the league? And then what do you look for in DBs? Because, that's what it's mainly we're talking to everybody, but of course we played the position. So what do you look for in DBs?
Okay. So yeah, like you said, the AFL is making a comeback after a 4-year hiatus, 5 year, something like that. Coming back for I think the third time, fourth time. What I like about it is they got some good leadership up top. I happen to know the CEO personally. I actually trained with him coming out for the combine. I actually trained with him in LA, so we had that connection going all the way back. Um, and I think it's really with his connections and being connected with various NFL guys and organizations and Nike and Rock Nation and Puma and all these things that he's been a part of. I think his vision, is tremendous. Him and Lee Hutton, the commissioner, their vision is tremendous. So I think the AFL is gonna have a lot of big things. Our games are gonna be nationally televised. They announced we got the Nike sponsor. We got a lot of things that they still haven't announced yet that should be coming in the next couple of weeks that are really going to take that AFL brand to the next level because the AFL is a really good league. It has a really tremendous history. A lot of people don't know about. So they're really just trying to take that and build on that and make it bigger and bigger. So I happen to get on with the Voodoo, long-standing franchise. They actually moved us from New Orleans to Lake Charles now. So now we're not the New Orleans Voodoo, we're the Louisiana Voodoo, but still keeping the same culture that they had down there. Now, as far as DBs, right, I was a big DB playing the position, 6'4", 6'5", playing DB. So what I look for, I'm kind of like how would you say it, a physical type DB because I feel like if you can intimidate the receiver or get in their head, you already have the battles won because the game is built for offense. That's whether it's outdoor or indoor. So if we can intimidate the guy across from us and even throw their game off a little bit, we got a chance to win. So I look for DBs that are coachable. I'm not gonna pick anybody that I can't coach that's gonna take what I'm telling them and apply that to situations on the field. I can't do it. Um, Also, DBs that have that it factor. When I say it factor, I mean like, man, you're not finna come off this line. Man, you're not finna run by me. Man, the ball in the air is mine. If I can't get it, you for sure not gonna get it. And I don't necessarily mean like DBs like that, but really just got this. That got that dog in them. That it factor. I look for those guys because you can coach technique and stuff like that. But if you ain't got the it factor, I can't do nothing with you. So the DBs that I have that I recruited so far, I got a few vets that I'm bringing in, but all of them have that it factor, bro. That's really what I'm looking for. My young guys coming in, they got it too. They hungry. They don't have the experience that the vets do, but they have that it factor. And watching the game, if you jump out on film, I don't care if you gave up a touchdown. What did you do the next play? You know what I'm saying? What did you do to play after that? How do you respond to adversity? And before I bring a guy on the team, I talk to them, just kind of see where they head at, if they're mentally tough, their goals and aspirations, and if I can coach them or not.
For sure. And I done seen some of the sighting. Y'all got a former teammates of mine, so y'all got some guys in there. Y'all bring it in there. Y'all definitely gonna be competing. And when does the season start for you guys?
Our season actually starts. We have a preseason game April 20th against Minnesota.
Right.
So they added that to our schedule. Our first regular season game will be the week after that, the 27th. We open up with Philly Soul, another legacy franchise. And we're in the toughest division, man. We're in the South. It's us, it's Orlando, that game circled twice. It's Georgia Force, we got, and West Texas, who has a great coaching staff, great front office over there. They've been signing some really good players. So our division, we probably got the toughest division in the league, man. So I'm excited and I'm looking forward to all the battles.
I'm definitely looking forward because not only is it more opportunity for the players, but for the coaches. Like you said, it's a lot of guys in the arena league I've seen that are getting hired. So just that unique feel to that game because we know what it looks like. We played it, but now to coach the next generation of guys and to help them reach their goals. Now you talked about goals and you talked about how you want to be in the NFL coaching rather in a GM spot or down coaching. What other goals have you set for yourself that you really haven't shared too much?
Well, I mean, my first overall goal, man, is to be the best man I could be. You know, I think a lot of us kind of look past the simplicity of that goal. It's really just, it starts with being the best person you can be. Then it starts being, the best dad you can be. If you got kids, the best husband you could be if you're married, the best neighbor you can be, the best, and it just kind of goes on. Now, if you could accomplish all of that, your bigger goals kind of fall into place if it's meant for you. If God intends for you, and you'll know what's meant for you by the way your path is. But as far as long-term goals, man, I want to own property. I want to own real estate, land. I definitely want to be in the front office, football front office. Doesn't matter, which team. I'm a Raider fan, for people that don't know, so being in the Raiders front office would be, a dream come true, or on the coaching staff. And really, man, just being the best version of myself, that my parents helped groom and nurture, and really making them proud. I know my mom smiling down, and just being happy that the man that she raised is still doing with himself. He's still pushing through adversity. He's still, fighting through, fight life fit. Um, and my pops the same way. My pops still alive, thank the Lord. But we talk all the time, and he's saying, man, I'm just proud of it. Keep doing what you're doing, keep grinding, and set the example for your kids as well. So that's my goals, man. Is really to be the best version of myself, to be the best dad, to my kids, and hopefully, Lord willing, I'm on the NFL front office staff one of these days.
For sure. So I wanted to hold this question off last because we're both fathers. Um, both of our children, our first childs are girls, and our
Mm-hmm.
seconds are boys. I'm about to have a girl though coming up next month. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
how has your daughter changed you and your mindset when she was born or when you knew you was having her?
Um, bro, what's funny, and I still kind of laugh about it to this day. My girl at the time, I always said I wanted twin boys. Like I never wanted girls. You know what I'm saying? I never wanted girls. So when I found out, we were in a ultrasound room that I was having a girl. I actually walked out when I found out. I was like, damn. And I got up and walked, and the ultrasound lady, bless her heart, and she was like, were you guys not wanting a girl? Like, and I was just like, because I know what comes with that. You know what I mean? So after I just kind of digested everything, bro, figured I was gonna be a girl dad. I just took it on headstrong, and I've never, how people say it's love at first sight. I never experienced that, you know, until my daughter was born. It's like you love someone instantly and you don't even know them. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to explain unless you're a girl dad, that instant bond that you have with them. So when I'm not playing football, she's up under me, man. You know what I'm saying? And we have a great bond now. We FaceTime all the time now. She's out in Seattle. She's doing her thing in sports now. She's 10, just crazy. She's doing her thing, man. And I think that I'm not gonna sit here and say her birth saved my life and I was, this, that, and the other, but it gave me a new perspective on life. And I say that because now you're not doing it for yourself no more. The energy shifts. Now you're doing it. Now you're leaving a legacy. So what am I going to show my daughter when she be like, when somebody asks her about her dad? You know, because the worst thing to say, bro, is I don't know my dad. Or, my dad was a failure, or my dad was, that is like the worst thing in the world to hear. a child say is, I don't know this parent, or my parent wasn't this, he was this, he didn't care about me, yada, yada, yada. And I swear I told myself I ain't never gonna do that. Because one, my mom ain't do that to me. You know, my mom was pregnant with me at 18 years old, man. And as 18 years old, I was not even thinking about kids.
Exactly.
I'm a freshman in college living my best life. I'm finna go to the league in a few years, make millions of dollars. You know, but this woman is, what can I do to make sure my son has the best future? You know what I'm saying? So I would say that, man, is having a child is kind of puts everything in a perspective, you know, for you, because now you got somebody to do it for.
No, that's key. And you said another word, legacy, because I say this story all the time. Prior to me even knowing I was about to have my daughter, I probably never read a book from front to back, like on my own, like some outside of school. And when I learned that I was having a child, but my daughter, I said, "Oh man, I need to learn as much as possible, because ignorance is passed on, and that's
Yeah,
something I didn't want to do." But at the same time, when I was in that hospital, I also understood like if I was to go today, would I be able to pass on a legacy where she's taken care of for the rest of her life? And the answer at that time was no. And that's why I was like, nah, I got to do something different.
mm-hmm.
So, now running my own financial practice, also my own business, which I'm teaching her how to do these ownership and how to not only build a foundation financially, but mentally, spiritually, where now
Yeah,
when she goes off on her own, get married, hopefully, however that is, however it plays out, she knows, and of course, all of my kids, but she knows and she sees that, all right, dad has given me a foundation, I can build on it. So
exactly.
that's the whole thing because most importantly, yes, we are black men, but at the same time, it's what we do not only with our own kids, but what we're doing, like you said, the man itself. Yes, we may be reaching these young men, these young women, where we are molding their life, but what are we doing with ourselves and our own kids and push them in the right direction? And that's what it's all about. So, man, I got my last question for you, and I appreciate you for your time, but what wisdom can you share for the next generation coming up after us?
Um, honestly, bro, I would say it ain't no manual to this, man. There's no manual to life. There's a manual to put together whatever toys and stuff like that, and bookshelves and stuff like that. But to life, bro, it ain't no manual. What it is life is the only thing that you're given tools for, but you don't know what you're building. You know what I'm saying? And where do you get your tools from? You get your tools from your parents. You get your tools from your teachers. You get your tools from your coaches. You know, and inadvertently, you get tools from society, from the streets, or from whatever you involved in. You get your tools. You take all those tools and you build something that you don't even know what it's going to look like. You just build it. Bam, here's my building block, school. Bam, here's my building block, sports. Here's my building block, relationship, marriage, kids. You know, all of these things that create life to when you're gone, what is your tombstone going to say? You know, or what are people going to say about you? What kind of legacy are you leaving? Like, hey, man, your dad was him, bro. Your dad was, he loved you. He did this, and this. Or damn, man, I mean, he was cool, but he was a dick, or he didn't know nothing, or he been on the same block for 60 years. He never did nothing. You know what I'm saying? So my advice is this: use these tools that you got and make your life what you want to make it, bro, because there is no right way. There is no wrong way. It's whatever you make out of it. Some people are cool with just being a janitor at their high school, and there's nothing wrong with that, bro, at all. Some people are cool with working at the post office, being a piano teacher, being whatever it is that you want to do with your life, be the best at it, you know, be the best at anything that you choose. If somebody chose it for you, then I get it. You kind of like, I ain't really, feeling that. But if it's something you want to do, be the best at it. You want to play, you want to go to the league, be the best at it. Don't be out here smoking and drinking with your homies when you're supposed to be watching film, If you want to be the president of the United States, don't be out here doing stuff and getting stuff on your record that's gonna follow you all the way to the White House. You know, be the best at whatever it is that you want to do. You know, and that's pretty much all it is to it, man. Live your life the way that you want to do it by keeping God first, and everything else is secondary.
Man, Chris, appreciate you, my guy. We'll be definitely checking in. We're gonna stay tapped in. Good luck on the season for you. And man, I might have to fly out there to Lake Charles to come check y'all out, man.
Yeah, pull up, bro. Pull up, man. I'm
Oh,
telling you, it's gonna be this season gonna be a movie, man. I'm telling y'all, pull up. You know, stay tuned.
man, always, man. Best of luck to you, my guy. And we'll be talking.
All right, my G. Appreciate you, man. I'll see y'all.